welcome to Take a Step to a Better You. I'm so excited today because today we celebrate 2 years of me being on this YouTube channel and you with me. So, 2 years, 265 videos, including live streams, 12,000 subscribers. That just happened recently, and YouTube, keeps playing around with that number because some people subscribe without watching, so it removes them, puts them back, like the sound come and they remove them. So I've been watching that number. Hopefully, right now it's like 12,000K. But when you watch, you go to a channel and you're so excited, you just subscribe without watching. After YouTube removes you in a few. Sometimes it takes a few days. So they've been doing that on my channel. People come and they subscribe without watching. So always, when you want to support someone, please watch before you subscribe, or YouTube removes people. Okay, that wasn't intended. Now, I'm so excited because it's also my birthday. I'm 54 years today. It's July 1st, 2021. Welcome. If you are new, my name is Sherifa, Nakalema. I'm a business owner here in Virginia, USA. And on this channel, I like to share. I'm passionate actually about my messages, what I know and what I continue to learn. This time, all these years, I was very passionate about inviting people. When COVID just started, inviting people, come, let's earn money online. I talk about business tips, YouTube tips, personal development, asking you to better your habits, daily habits, being grateful, writing I am affirmation, SMART goals, 80-20 rule. That's what I've been doing here today. And then recently I started the books. I finished Rich Dad Poor Dad. I have 68 videos on that. I'm reading Cash Flow Quadrant. This is by Robert Kiyosaki. I'm on video, we just finished 37. So all this is intended to ask you to take a step to make your life better. And in this, think about what to do on this day. And locally here in Virginia, there is a lady I've been watching. In fact, she owns a property management company. Her name is Ms Michele Odems. And I am actually a contractor in this business because I own a cleaning company locally. So we clean the homes when people are moving out, like other renters are coming in, or it's being put on sale. We clean with other cleaners, other companies, but my company is one of them. So I said, if I ask her to come and talk to us, to my viewers, and she said yes, I think she'll be the perfect guest because she is a true go-getter. So for those of you who are interested in business kind of things, topics, even in just life, I'm talking to Ms Michele Odems. It's a conversation that's going to happen in the store. And you have something, I think, to take out. They call them nuggets. There are nuggets there. That's coming next. But before I get to Ms Michele, I want to mention the stairs. You know those stairs you see when my videos are starting? With the message, take a step to better you. Those are old stairs. And I'm wearing old shoes. There's a message there. I mentioned it in one of my motivation videos. I think by the way, if you want to know more about this channel, I recorded a video when I said I got to 100 videos, and another one when I got to 10,000 subscribers. I'm going to link those because I don't want to go through, when did you get to 1,000 subscribers? When did you get monetized? I tell all those stories. So I'll link those 2 videos. You can go hear my story there. But for now, I want to still talk about those steps. We can move ourselves. First of all, we have to take the steps. Like how you see I'm taking the steps. That was me in that image. Those are old steps. You can move yourself from old steps to better steps. Better steps would be a new house. And then shoes. Those are old shoes. In fact, one of my daughters keeps talking about those shoes. Why wear those shoes? Yes, there's a message in those shoes. Because those shoes are old. We can work hard and get ourselves to better shoes. So that's my message. That's what I'm doing here. Mine is a starting over story. If you want to know my story, I have it in a video I call "We Need More Money." That's what brought most people, the first subscriber to this channel. I was saying we need more money. It's still a message of we need more money. So in that one, I told the reason why I'm in starting over mode, and you can go watch that. I don't think I'm linking that one. If you go search for "We Need More Money" or in the, I think it's the affiliate marketing playlist, you'll find it. It has the most, I think, the second watched video on this channel. That's where I tell my story. So it's starting over. We can make better. We can make it better. And see these books that I read, but written by Robert Kiyosaki, they can change your life. They are better than a business degree. So I said I have 68 videos. I called Lessons from Robert Kiyosaki. I'm reading this one, the cash flow quadrant. This one is more, it talks about employees and self-employed and being a business owner, investor, and he's breaking it down. So keep it here. My intention in the next phase, as we start the third year, is I want to make sure these books, this message goes to more and more and more people. Let me first finish reading them. I'm finished this one. Then the next goal will be to make sure your son, your daughter, your mother, your father, anyone you know, listen to this message because it's really empowering. You need to know what an asset is, a liability is, passive income, all those topics. And the other thing I'm going to do, and I think I'll connect it with my live streams, I want to go back to why most people came to this channel. The first subscriber came because I was talking about Need More Money, and I was promoting affiliate marketing, which is the promotion of other companies' products and services to earn a commission. I'm coming back with that message in the third year. I'm going to connect it with live streams so that I can answer your questions. I'm going to try and search for what people without money can promote, because you could promote just for someone to provide their email address and you get paid. So I'm going to focus on that more in the third year, but you'll hear me with business messages because I strongly feel, that's why I'm interviewing Ms Michele, is that business ownership is where we get liberated. That's where we're going to get liberated, because when you're an employee, the more money you earn, the more taxes you pay and all that stuff. Robert is breaking it down. So please keep it here. I want to thank all of you who watch me every day, especially those who come to my premieres, those who see a notification and click on it. Those are few, by the way. You see that I have large numbers, but most people, because I think I talk about so many things, I also talk about YouTube tips. I need to narrow it down maybe more. That's why some people don't care about what I say, because they came for a different reason. That's why my viewers, you see that the views are low. Some people, but I also have a number of people who really would love to watch, but they can't afford the data, especially in developing countries. So it's a combination. But where I'm going with this, I want to emphasize owning something. Owning something, I'm going to own something by first making the money. So I'm going to be coming live, maybe more. Right now I'm coming on Friday live, but maybe I'll add in another day, and I'll be, please, when you see me show up in your feed, make sure, by the way, that you're subscribed. Look at the button. Please subscribe to this channel and click on the notification, the bell that comes up, so that you get to know when I'm here, when something is coming up. I'm always looking for things that can benefit my community, and it's daily. I'm here daily. I won't short schedule today. I'll just say I'm here daily. Watch some more videos, and you get to know more about what I do. Okay? So for right now, again, I thank you all for supporting this message. This is a very important message. In fact, I'll invite you before I move you to the interview with Ms Michele, the conversation. I want to invite you to come to my Facebook group. I'll put a link below. I'm putting a link below to take it one pound when I finish 100 videos. Another one when I go to 10,000 subscribers. I'll also put a link to Ms Michele's website. And also, I think let me put a link to my Facebook group. Please come. Over there, I'm live every Monday, and I'm emphasizing having a SMART goal. I teach what a SMART goal is, and I want every member, for if you're watching me and you don't have a SMART goal yet, and you're in my group, you are behind. We are setting up SMART goals, success habits, being grateful every day, writing I am statements, listening to Al Nightingale, have an audio, all that stuff when you're in my group. And then, of course, when I start sharing the online stuff, if you're close, then you know what I'm doing. Please, I'll put a link below. Come to my group, but only if you feel you're a go-getter. Like you feel you're a go-getter. Right now, I have people in my group who are not true go-getters. please, if you're in my group, I need more action from you. Come, make sure you have a smart goal. Be active. If you want to start a YouTube channel, come. So be in my group. I'll put a link in the description below. It's called Take a Step to a Better You. So again, thank you so much for supporting this message. And please share. Please, this is empowerment. We have to do it ourselves. No one is going to do it for us. Now, I'm not coming back on camera. I'll just come. I'm talking to Ms Michele. You see, by the way, I was wearing a mask when I was interviewing Ms Michele, so that really doesn't matter as long as you can hear what we are talking about. I think it's an important conversation. If you can't finish it today, come back to it. There is nuggets there. Again, thank you so much for your support. And Ms Michele, if you're watching this, thank you so much for giving me the time, to offering the time and sharing. You didn't leave anything out. We just had a conversation. You said no limits to go into private matters and all that. Thank you so much. And to you, my viewers, please share this message. Keep coming. Again, thank you. Thank you so much. If what I do here has impacted you in any small way, please, this is the time to put in the comments. Put in a comment and say, since I watched you, this is what has happened in my life. Please add that into in the comments below. Okay, thank you so much. Now, let's start. Let me take you over to the conversation I'm having with Ms. Michele Odems, especially for business owners and also for those, not business owners, anyone who wants to make a better life actually. Although we are discussing business, if you have a business, I think you should be attentive in that conversation. It's like personal, but also we share things that are important because she's moving her company to another level. So we are learning from her. Okay. Again, don't forget to leave a comment from me. Thank you for watching this portion. Now, next to the conversation with Ms. Michele. Thank you. As we celebrate 2 years on this YouTube channel, I thought about who to talk to, who to have a conversation with that you would benefit from. And I'm honored today to introduce to you a special lady, a true go-getter that I've watched for 8 years. She is a small business owner, growing, getting to where Robert Kiyosaki always suggests that we move from S to B. I think she's heading over there. That's why I'm inspired by her story. And when I asked her to come to talk to us, to share her story, she said yes. So I'm so happy to introduce to you Ms. Michele Odems. She's the owner of RPM Direct, which is a property management company here in Virginia. And welcome, Ms. Michele.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
I don't think you even understand how much I admire you, Ms. Michele. So we're going to get into how I got to know you. But first of all, tell us something about yourself and RPM Direct.
I'm going to tell you something about myself and RPM Direct, but first I want to say hi to your go-getters there. And I'm happy to be here with you today. And also I want to make sure that you know, Sherifa, that I also admire you very much. That we have a very long-term relationship.
Yes,
and
8 years. I checked my record before. I said, when did I first meet her? 8 years, yes.
And I know you often talk about how much you admire me and how my company has grown, but also I admire so much about you and what you do in your business and also what you do here on mine. It's remarkable.
Thank you so much. So I wish I didn't have to talk to you through a mask, but with these times. So tell us something about RPM and what you do.
So RPM Direct is a property management company located in Virginia. We manage 400 properties. So these are primarily for people who are in the military or the State Department and they own rental properties. They're leaving the area, they're going around the country, around the world, different time zones, and they can't manage their properties themselves. So they entrust their properties to us and we manage it for them.
When I see what you do, I see it's actually a very basic service. It's very, very important. But how? How did this start? Why property management? Why do that? I feel like it's a lot of work.
It is a lot of work. We fortunately have a really good staff. You know our staff. So we have a great staff to help me implement it. The company was actually started 12 years ago. My husband was a real estate broker. He had been a broker for probably 10 or 15 years at that time, and he had a lot of clients who were in the military. The real estate market had just crashed, and the values of homes were down significantly. So a lot of the military clients that he had sold homes to were now getting stationed in other areas overseas.
How to go?
And they had to go and they could not sell their house because the values of the house were low. Some other people were letting their houses go to foreclosure or doing short sales, but the military members could not do that because it would impact their security clearance. So they had to keep their homes. But of course, they couldn't manage it themselves from where they were going around the world. So several of them had called my husband and asked for a recommendation for a property manager. And after this happened several times, he realized that this was a trend that was going
Smart,
to start.
huh?
Yep.
He was smart. Yeah.
So he and his friend actually started a property management company. And
Can I interrupt a little bit? So there were no property management companies at that time?
there were very few. There were very few companies that actually specialize just in property management. There are several large real estate companies in this area that have a property management division, but there were not really any companies that just focus on property management.
Now you got me into thinking of something I didn't even think about. So how do you set up this whole system? So how do you know Robert Kiyosaki, the one I admire a lot, we read the book, he said a business has to be a system.
Mm-hmm.
You don't just, you set up things how they go.
Right.
And I watch how you go. So who set that up? How do you know?
So what I first did was I contacted some other property managers that I actually knew.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked them for like the most basic things that they use all the time. Like what forms do they need? What software do they use? What rules do they have?
I was about to say the regulations
Yep.
for the state.
Yeah, and so I kind of started with that. And then after that, I just kind of learned as I went. I learned something from every single client that I brought on as I brought them on, whatever process we went through, whatever unique situations caused us to expand.
So you learn as you go.
Yeah.
You fail forward, like it fails, and then you do better. You learn and move on.
Yeah.
So I have to mention how I first met you. The reason, by the way, why I decided to talk to Ms. Michele is because from the time I watched her, I've been learning. And as we learn the lessons on this channel, I said, the things we are learning from the books I read, she's actually doing. So maybe if we bring her here, she's going to tell us like how she does things. So maybe you can also learn and use in our own lives. This conversation is going to help those of you who are interested in business. Either think about starting a business or already have a business, but also small business, right? Categorize as small, yours,
Absolutely,
right?
yes.
Yes, but growing. Because our goal, like Robert is teaching us in the Cash Flow Quadrant book, is to move ourselves from small to grow it to be large, where you, in fact, I'm going a little bit ahead of this, where I use other people's time, like you. I saw you, like how you travel, and people can manage things when you're not there. That means you're getting to that, where you step out and people can do work when you're not there. So the benefit of this conversation is for those people who want to learn, how do you really move it from small to large? Do you want to get it to large, really large? What's your intention?
I do want to continue growing the company.
Okay.
We've always, from the time we began, we've really had this goal to add on a new employee every year. And so we've been in business 12 years. We have 10 employees. And so we're kind of on track for that goal. And I want to continue to do that. In order to add on new employees, we obviously need to add on new customers.
Yes. So I wanted to mention the story of how I got to meet you. Because on my channel, I told that the cleaning story for me, it just happened out of starting over, out of desperation. What can I do? Because of what happened in my husband's accident and everything. So I said, how do I get places to clean? So I just sat down and wrote a letter. And I wrote and I said, I went in the Yellow Pages at that time, for Yellow Pages, right? I looked at companies, property management. I said, who could I send these letters to? So I wrote, I said, I'm so and so. I really could do a good job. If you give me your property clean, stuff like that. I mailed them. And then someone called, not you though. Because that's something I learned too. Because at that time you had like 1 or 2 employees, but you still didn't make the call yourself.
Right.
That's something to learn. Because delegation.
Correct.
You send someone else to call me. And I remember when I walked in 8 years ago, I came and she went and called you. This kind of was over there.
It was, yeah.
Yes.
We just rearranged a little bit.
Yes.
It was a COVID.
So you came and I said, I wonder why she didn't call me herself.
Mm-hmm.
So I was learning.
Right.
So we learn to delegate. Simple things like your time is more valuable. Come and meet me. You don't have like she had to invite me in and I was ready, and then when we were ready, you can.
Right.
That means you're managing time. There's so many lessons right there, right?
Yes, I mean that's when someone starts their own business. Initially, they're doing everything, right? Like
Yes.
usually when people start their own business, they're kind of doing everything, and then they, as they can afford to, or as they can allocate funds to, they usually bring on people to help with the tasks that take the most of their time, and so that they can focus on other things that bring more value or bring more work for the company.
Yes, and the reason I brought that up, I thought that because you're not big yet, but you still, even now you do it. You know when to do something and when not to do something.
Yep.
Remember?
I know a lot of time you call me with a
yes,
question,
and say, no, some should be doing that.
I will say, yes, go talk to
but
the
then
other person.
It's so funny because for you, you always respond like so fast. So you solve the problem really fast. Yeah. You know, when I talk about, my mind, the way it works, it jumps around. So I'm sorry for that. But okay. And now I'm thinking about time management. Because one of the tips I give about time management, something you can solve in 5 minutes, don't say later, do it. Mm-hmm. You do that all the time. Mm-hmm. Like when I call you and I say, okay, this, something you're going to handle, like in a minute, you already responded. I mean, how do you get to be like that?
I think for me, sometimes I'm worried about if I don't do something right away, then it'll fall off of my radar and I won't get to it. So I like to get everything resolved that I need to do quickly. But back to the point about delegation, because I've been doing this business for 12 years, I can do it quicker than anybody else, right? I have so many experiences in my mind that I can come up with a solution pretty quickly. So that's why sometimes I direct you to say, hey, call my staff for that instead of me, because how else can
But they don't respond as fast, is it?
Right, but how can they ever get to that level if they don't handle the problems as they come up? So I really try to divert the actual day-to-day work so that I can focus on the things to help the company grow, the things to help the company improve processes. But
still, it could also be a personality thing. This point, I wanted us to mention your late husband. Okay. Because at some point, we were talking about him in the process, and he made a statement. He said, he made me.
Yes.
What does that really mean?
So the statement I said is, I am the woman that Lingham built.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So my husband Lingham, people call him Lee for business.
Yeah.
He passed away last year, and we had been together for 36 years.
36 years?
36 years, yes. Wow. And so we met when I was 19. So literally my whole entire adult life was with him. And he was such a go-getter.
Yes.
He was such a goal setter.
Yes.
And
professional.
Yeah, and he really pushed people to be their best. And so he pushed me. And so think of, for 36 years, he literally had his hand on my back pushing me. For 36 years, he never took it off.
But when I first met you, it wasn't so obvious. It seemed like you're now at the same level, the way you're doing things. Were you still learning from him, or?
Well, the company was newer, when we met. And so
but it seemed like you knew what you were doing. Were you still learning?
I learn every day, just like you talked about reading. I read every single day,
yes,
just like
yes.
you do. Yeah, we have that in common.
Yes.
So I'm always learning. One of the things that over the past couple of years I've learned is that I've developed skills to be an excellent property manager, but I haven't yet developed skills to be an excellent people manager.
People manager?
Meaning, so my own staff.
Really?
Yes.
I thought you were good.
I'm good, but I need to be better.
Okay, what's missing since you got into that?
So, one of the things is that sometimes if my employees need to take corrective action, I had always learned that you want to start on a positive statement, talk about the corrective action, and then come back to another positive statement so that they feel good about the process. Mm-hmm. But I feel like for me, I do too much positive on the top and the bottom, and then I don't focus enough on what the actual corrective action is. And so maybe,
So you mean as far as the way they do their work? Or?
yeah, like if I have to show, tell them they did something incorrectly and I need to talk to them about how to do it better in the future.
Mhm.
For me, that's one area I need to improve in, and that I need to make sure I'm really focusing on how for them to change for the better, and not so much on being positive at the beginning and positive at the end.
Maybe you're just a good person.
Yes, but if my goal is to help that person improve on their job, we can't be the best property management company around unless we have the best property managers. And so a very important part of my job is to help them grow and learn and improve. And that's
tough,
that's what I,
especially now.
and that's what I need to focus on. That's really what
So
I need
you
to
have
focus on.
to grow in that.
Yeah.
But the real reason actually I wanted to talk to you was because I remember when I first met you, you said that you want to grow. You had like 100 properties, maybe.
Correct.
And you said by next year I want to grow it to 200. I remember the number. That's double. And I remember thinking, And when I was talking to you, you said you didn't advertise much, right?
We never advertised until this year, actually.
See? So I was wondering, how do you do that? How?
We were very fortunate that for the first, 8+ years as we grew, that almost all of our business came from Google searches, natural Google searches, no SEO optimization or anything like that. We were very, very fortunate because, as I mentioned earlier, there weren't really any property management companies that would just focus on property management. So some of the larger real estate companies, their website might have 10 pages, and 9 of them were about real estate and 1 was about property management.
Okay.
Whereas my website, everything was about property management. So that's how I got to the top of the Google
And I
search.
think you had mentioned something about knowing about how the internet worked at that time.
I read books on Google. I did have a background in IT also. So yes,
I think that helped.
I made sure that our website was following everything that Google needed to.
Yes, I think that helped too. Advertising is always a big part of like the expense of.
Yes, and we actually did start advertising this year for 2 reasons. One, because of COVID, the military moves last year slowed down significantly.
No.
They really stopped for a number of months, and so that impacted our business. And I'm going to call them my colleagues, my competing companies, property management companies in other areas. I do call them my colleagues because I'm friends with them. They have started marketing in our county. Yes, competing directly.
Yeah.
So they're my friends. I called them. I asked them to stop marketing in this area.
What?
Yes.
What?
In a friendly way. But they all said no. They're going to keep on doing
of course not. It's business.
Yeah. So, I tried and it didn't work. So because they're marketing so heavily now, I'm not so much at the top of Google search because there's a lot of ads, that are up top that my colleagues in other counties are putting up there. So I've had to join them.
That's interesting that you can talk to your competitor and say, please don't advertise over here.
In a joking way, but
no,
I'm literally friends with them.
They want to take your business.
Yeah, they want to. But I'm in the property management community. We actually have an organization, the National Association of Residential Property Managers, in Markham, and we meet on a regular basis. So we know each other. We get together for lunch, and we share ideas. And
that's funny, actually. So how did it grow? Because by the end of that year, I think, the year when you wanted 200, you had like 400, I think.
Probably closer to 300 at that time.
Yes. Because I was asking, did you get to the 200? You said, oh, it's more. Yeah. And then I was watching it too. Like more people and everything was happening. So how did you get it there fast? How did you get there that fast?
I will say honestly that the most important thing was to respond immediately to the leads. Like if somebody called, I called them back right then. I took every single call. If I missed a call, I called right back. Like following up on leads was the most important thing. And no matter what I was doing, if a lead came in, I stopped everything and did that. I remember one time in that time period where somebody called me and I was in Kohl's. And I literally sat on the floor and talked to the person for like a half hour.
What?
And got that as a client. And I mean, literally, I took every lead very, very seriously.
And I think from working with you, by the way, I didn't mention that I actually work for you. I didn't mention it, right? No, I mentioned that you called me a lot, but I didn't tell where it ended.
Right.
You actually ended up hiring my company and gave me the biggest house
Correct.
because I had to
Well,
clean.
first, let me say I was really impressed by that letter and by your company's name.
Oh, the honest soul.
Honest Souls. Yeah, we really like the name of your company, and it just had a really good feeling about it.
Yeah,
So,
I was just starting out at that time.
but
And
yes,
you gave me the
it
biggest
probably
house
was-
like
it
a
probably-
challenge.
It was definitely at that time the biggest house we were managing.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it was really huge. But
and
then
you did a fantastic job.
I was learning. I
Fantastic.
was still learning.
Yeah.
And I wanted to mention, because remember these are two, but remember we wanted to talk about me and then we left.
Okay.
Because we stopped.
Okay, so you also mentioned that he's my late husband. Late is a word that doesn't feel good for me, but
But the truth.
he's my husband who passed.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's not the same thing.
It is the same thing. It's just a word that
Oh.
I don't like to say myself, but it's okay.
Oh.
So he passed away last year. He had a 10-month unwinnable battle with cancer.
I was about to ask you how long it took. Yeah, it was
So it was 10 months that he was fighting it. He was fighting it very hard, and we literally thought he was going to make it, but it just
That's what we
was
thought.
unwinnable. But also, it kind of goes to a point where that you were talking about when you own a business, what it allows you to do with your time.
Mm.
So from the day that he was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer, I didn't come back to work. until he passed away.
And there's something, if you don't mind, I wanted to mention about that, because I had it in my notes here, that I've never seen, I think, a person committed to treating someone or to loving someone to the end. I've never seen it. Because we had some emergencies, we said, no, I can't take the call. I'm in the hospital. I said, you can't even answer. No, I had never seen that. You see, I don't want to get emotional though.
Yeah, no, I'm okay with it. It was the hardest year of my life, obviously, but yes, I didn't come to work. I took care of my husband for 10 months.
And you kept saying, this is the most important thing. This is the most important. I said, what? Yeah. I thought maybe you could take a moment, a little bit. No.
No, the only thing that I did is I had to sign checks. So my staff would call me if there was checks that needed to be signed, and I would either come to the office at night to sign them, or they would bring them to the hospital so I could sign them there.
That's commitment. And I think he died a happy man. Is that a good statement to say? I mean, with you.
I will say it a different way.
Mm.
In that 10 months, we had the opportunity to say everything that we needed to say to each other. Mm-hmm. There's no single word more that I needed to say to him, or I'm sure he needed to say to me.
Well, remember, you honored me with seeing him the last time.
Yes, you prayed with him.
Yes. Yeah. And he seemed fine, almost, right?
Yeah,
he jumped around.
I said that we really thought that he was going to make it.
Yes.
So he was a joker. He joked around a lot, and he wanted to joke with everyone who came to visit him.
Yes. We miss him, but he was very strong. Really, you are a very strong person, and I learned that from you. Very loving, and something I need also to mention: very humble. Do you know that? Do you know that?
I try.
No, let me tell you why I know you are humble. I don't know if we want to mention this to the whole world, because when I went for Hajj. Remember, you came to work before you came, and although I'm a contractor for RPM, I clean your properties and all that. Another person will see me as far down there because I clean. You see what I mean?
Well, I see you as my equal. You're a business owner.
No, that shocked me though, because other people don't see it like that. When they give you, because I had worked for other companies before here. I was doing over the sea cleaners as like, it doesn't matter. No, they don't see you as equal at all.
Well, I see you as a small business owner.
Yes.
Myself. Yes.
But the humble that I'm talking about, I didn't know how much money you had or whatever. I didn't know your level of success at that time when you came.
Right. Until
I came to your home. And you never even mentioned about your home. So those of you who watched me when I was filming and talking about apartments, and I remember mentioning $1 million home, that I've entered $1 million home. That was her home. Because I've cleaned them, we cleaned them the big ones. But to enter it as a setup home, it was your home. And you came to my small home, and you're so humble. I know that. I appreciate that very much. and keep it up, please. Because it sets a very good example, even with your employees, the way you deal with your employees. It's like you're all almost equal the way you say it. Although they still respect you, right?
Yeah, I hope so. Yes.
No, they do, right? You fire them.
Yeah.
You fire them. If someone can fire you, you have to
You know what
respect
though?
them.
Like I just said, I literally didn't come to work for 10 months. Those employees, they're like my family. Like they had my back.
Yes.
They ran
Especially the manager.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Antoinette, yes.
Yes.
They ran this company without me. We did not lose a single customer in those 10 months.
Yeah.
They literally ran this company without
But
me.
the humble part, because for those of you who are owners, maybe there's something, I'm sorry, business owners or bosses, whatever, maybe you can learn something from her. How do you do that though? How do you humble yourself?
I'm not sure. I mean, it's just.
It's a natural thing? It's the way you're raised or what? Because I mentioned the $1 million home.
Yeah.
When you came to my smaller home, you didn't behave like, oh, this is small or whatever. I mean, I couldn't imagine you're coming from that kind of home until I stepped in. I didn't know. I didn't know. So I said, oh my God.
I'm not judging people by their house, and you know what I mean? I'm comfortable in everyone's home.
But still, another person would see, if you're living in a gated community, you could see yourself as high up there. But someone dealing with you would never know that. And I appreciate that about you. So I mentioned already the hard work. I think you mentioned the hard work, right? Very hard work, professionalism, kindness, but strict. There's something, yes, I wanted to mention when you said that why you didn't lose homes. There's something else you do with your company that I get used to. Or someone moving out of a home at 5 p.m. and make sure it's ready for the next person by 12 noon the following day.
Yes.
I think that's big.
So not a lot of property management companies do that.
Yes.
It's a significant decision to do that.
Yes.
But the reason we do it is because most people want to move in on the first of the month. And if we don't have that house available on the first of the month, and we took time to, other than, right now we're having people on standby to clean it on the night of the 30th or 31st or the morning of the 1st. If we took extra days to do that, then probably we wouldn't have a tenant move in until the 15th of the month or later.
Why?
Because people always want to move in on the 1st. That's the natural date to move in.
Okay.
So if we said, okay, this house is available on the 3rd, people need a house on the 1st. So they wouldn't be able to move in on the 3rd. They would pick another house.
Yeah.
And so then we would be getting people who are looking for the 1st of the next month, but are willing to move in early. So if we didn't do this one-day turnover, our landlords would be having some vacancy.
And they'll be losing some money too.
They'll be losing some money. So we specifically are looking out for our landlords. We put a lot of work on our staff to do that. We put a lot of work on our vendors to do that. And we feel like it's really important.
I'm one of them.
Yes. So you know.
And I know when a house needs to be cleaned, it has to be cleaned. I remember one time I had put stuff we had, I think, 3 homes to clean. So I had seen one and seen another. And then I think I got a message to say this one should be fast or to be finished. Yeah. But the stuff was already in another house. Okay. But then it's 20 minutes away. And then I think Victoria was saying, we need this one. Guess what? I had to go to Home Depot and buy a set of.
I remember that.
Remember that?
Yeah,
I said, how can I drive back over there? Everything set up in the other house. And now this one is needed. I said, let me go just buy some things. I said, what? We'll go with the flow. We go with the flow. Because I know it must be done. It has to be done.
I appreciate that. I definitely appreciate that. There's a lot of scrambling, on that one-day turnovers that we do, especially this time of year. So this is our busiest time of year. And, but I feel like it's in our landlord's best interest. And that's why our company is able to grow, because we really focus on our landlord's best interest.
So I hope you, for those of you who are business owners, you are learning something from this discussion. For those of you who are regular viewers, you may say, I wonder what they're talking about. Actually, what we're sharing here is really, really important. The other thing that's important, and I first heard this from Oprah a long time ago. I was watching Oprah. She said, I think some people stole her money. So she said, sign your checks. Sign your checks. And through all that, remember you said even when you're in the hospital, they will call you to sign the checks. You sign the checks.
I do sign the checks. It's very important for me because some of the checks are our business's money, like to pay our employees, to pay the utilities and everything associated with running a business. Of course, that's our business's money. But we also manage a lot of money that are in our accounts that doesn't actually belong to us. So we hold the security deposits for all of our tenants. We take rent in from our tenants that's going to ultimately go to our landlords. So a lot of money passes through our accounts, and we have to be very diligent with managing that. Not only do I sign all the checks, but we also have 3 levels of audits. So we have one of our bookkeeper. She's not an employee, but she's a contracted bookkeeper. She audits every month. One of our employees audits every week. And then we have a 3rd audit done by an outside company that specifically audits property management companies. So we have 3 audits.
Not sure how their money.
We have to make sure that our bank accounts are reconciled to the bank. They can never be off there.
That's great. And so, as a business owner, what do you think is more important, cash flow or profitability? Having the cash.
What a good question. How we started. We started with just myself, so there wasn't really. It was myself and then the first client. So there's like no cash flow, right? Because the the income from that one client isn't covering the light bill, you know. So for us, it wasn't probably until 3 years in that we were truly profitable. So I did not take any pay to myself for the first several years. It was more important for me to keep the funds inside the business so that we could grow and get to a point where we could. So I feel like cash flow is really important to manage, because if you aren't managing your cash flow, you could be, come up with not being able to pay your employees.
Yes, and that's how businesses fail.
Exactly. So it's really, really critical to keep your company organized.
Yeah, so what we learn from that, some people, especially online, this is a local business, by the way. We are discussing a local business, a service business. But for some people, when they start a business, they expect to make a profit immediately. So you could go even 3 years without a profit, but at least you have to be looking that you're improving.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, we literally, from the time that we took on our first client, all the way through 2020, we grew every single month. Yes. We brought on new clients.
You have to be improving. Yeah. Otherwise, you could borrow money you can't pay back.
Yes, that's also, we never borrowed money. That's one of our policies.
So hopefully there is something to learn from this. Now, Ms. Michele, do you have anything you want to close with to go-getters, anyone who is hesitating? And maybe we should have mentioned the advantages of business ownership over being an employee.
Okay, we can talk about that. First of all, I love that you call your subscribers go-getters. I love that. Yeah. My husband and I always talked about striving to be the top 5%. And so... Or 4% sometimes. Yeah, 4% even, yeah. So, but I love the term go-getters. So I love that you refer to them as that.
A message for them, for those who want to become business owners, because that's my message.
Yeah, so I think that the most important thing in my mind is to always be learning. So to figure out what skills you need to improve on, to just constantly learn. Sherifa and I both read all the time.
Yes. And things are changing.
Things are changing. So there's a couple of different levels of learning. So in my property management business right now, I have to be on top of all the new regulations that are going into place because of COVID, because of national eviction moratoriums. I have to stay on top of everything about that.
One more month?
Yep, and extended it. So there's the type of learning to keep me up to date on my business, the actual core of my business. But there's also the type of learning to continue to improve myself as a person.
Personal development.
Yep, personal development. I talked about needing to be a better manager of my people, my employees, not just managing properties. Yes. I need to be a better speaker. I need to be a better leader. Those types of things we just always, as an individual, have room for improvement. And so to me, I feel like no matter what industry you're in, no matter what business you want to start or want to be involved with, I feel like you have to just always keep learning to improve yourself as a person. And I think that's
the spirit we have here. What do you think Lee would say right now? How long has it been?
So we passed in February 2020, so it's a little over a year now.
Okay. What do you think he would say? Because I see you're committed. Yeah. This, right?
I'm committed to this because I'm committed to following the path that he and I have been on for a very long time. We had a lot of goals and dreams, and he would want me to keep on.
And you said everything. So he wanted you to keep going with this. What was his wish for this one?
Yeah, he really wanted to continue to grow the business.
Okay.
He believes that. So, like I mentioned, in the first several years, we didn't take any salaries at all, and he believed that the company would get to a critical mass so that we would not have to work as hard. Many years we worked 60 hours a week.
Yeah.
We worked nights, weekends. We put a lot into it, and it was stressful and frustrating, but he would always say there will be a time when all of this hard work will pay off.
Yes.
And so fortunately, we are at that time. I
Okay.
work much less now than I ever did, even though our company is, growing and thriving. It's easier for me because I have the business to be able to increase the staff and have less workload on myself. And so we are now at that point that he always wanted to be. I'm really sad that he's not here with me to enjoy that part, but this is where he was always striving to be. He would never want me to give up. But at this point, it's actually what business owners are looking for.
So Robert Kiyosaki in the book Cash Flow Quadrants says that you always have to have a plan. Either you sell it, you plan. I think he says sell it. He says you have an exit plan. Yes. Yeah. So what is for you?
Can I just say one thing before I talk about that? Because we also were readers of Robert Kiyosaki, and we actually.
Oh, you are?
Yeah. Have you? Are you familiar with the game Cash Flow?
I played it.
Yeah.
She played it too.
Yeah.
Oh,
so, and we had all of our kids play it, our friends play it. So that was a big part of our life for a long time. So I just want to make sure that your go-getters know about that.
No. Really I mentioned it. Yeah. I played, and I've said at some point if I can show it in the video, we'll see where it's going. I could come and bring it on the channel. Yes, you changed it now. There's a digital version also.
Right.
Yes.
So you asked about my exit strategy.
Yes.
Well, before Lee passed away, our exit strategy was to retire because he was actually 11 years older than me. Mm-hmm. And so we did want to be able to sell the business and retire so we could do other things that were important to us while he was still, able to get around easily, and not before his body would start getting, losing interest in traveling and things. There were a lot of charitable organizations and causes that he wanted to work with. So we did have a strategy to retire at some point in the near future. But now that he's gone, have a lot longer working years, in me. So I'm definitely going to continue.
I see. Up your game. I think you'll be proud. We don't know whether they see or we don't know where they are. Maybe you can see. Maybe he's here. We don't know.
Maybe he's with us.
Yes.
I feel him with me.
No, he'll be very proud actually. For us who are watching you and those who watch it, did I even mention that the kindness is, I watched both of you the way you work. You have the same spirit. I remember the very first time when I met you, when I came, remember you first gave me homes before you gave me the office.
True. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So one time you said, maybe my son has been cleaning this, but he's gone to college. Maybe you could clean our office too. Yeah. So I came and I met you, both of you, after everyone is gone. Yeah. And then you promised that you would give me, you said yes after I looked around and told you how much it cost. You said yes. And then you wanted to give me a key, but you didn't have an extra key. So I remember him offering his key. Yeah, because he wanted to go make a copy for me. Yeah. He gave me his key. Yeah. So always joking around. Yeah. Okay, so you showed his photo so you can know what the person we're talking about. And I'm so honored that you gave us this time. You shared this time. I know you're very busy. Thank you so much. So you have anything for her?
I think I love what you're doing. I really do. I know a lot of people who started YouTube channels, and the ones that I know haven't had the level of success you had. And I think the difference is that you are very committed with a time schedule. I know that my people in my office are telling me, oh, Sherifa's focusing right now. She has a reporting schedule. You are very consistent. And I really think that's a big factor in people's success. And so as talked about always be learning, but really that consistency, having a plan and working it and sticking to it, I feel like that is really
consistency is important. And the habits that you have a routine, you have all that. So maybe we'll get you back here when we get to 100,000. subscribers.
Okay.
So we
That's good.
celebrated now. We just completed 2 years. We are starting our 3rd year.
Congratulations.
Yes. And wishing you the very best too.
Thank you. I wish you the very best as
Okay.
well.
Thank you, Ms. Michele. Okay, thank you so much for watching it. Please leave a comment. What do you think? What did you learn? What did you learn from what Ms. Michele shared? Actually, that's a lot to learn from what she just shared. Hopefully, it was clear. Hopefully, you followed us because this was deep business, and hopefully she's gonna move herself from the S to the B because that's my wish for you. So you can just go hang around somewhere, be happy, as the money flows in, right? So that they do a good job, because then you have to have the right people, by the way. We didn't get into the right people topic, but that matters a lot. People you trust, but now you have a few you trust. We didn't even mention Johnny. Johnny, that one is the treasure.
Yeah,
Yes. So, but I think those people are good because you are good too. I think they're working for you, you're a good person, so they do a good job. Because I feel like I'm your employee too. I feel like that, seriously.
You're definitely my colleague.
Yeah. So thank you for watching it. Please leave a comment, especially about Ms. Michele. I don't know. You wanna link your website on my channel?
Sure, we can do
Okay,
it.
we can put this. You gotta go check it out and see. For those of you interested in properties and all that, if you're watching this and you're from Virginia, maybe this could help you. You could come and use their services. Thank you so much for watching. Like I always end them, I said, take very good care of yourself. Take very good care of your families. Take very good care of your health. Take a step to a better you. Bye-bye.